Hi, I'm Wendy Ford. Can you hear me okay? I want to welcome you to the campus of Cold Spring School, which serves kids from kindergarten through 6th grade. Cold Spring is the environmental studies magnet for Indianapolis Public Schools. I represent, and Ken, the Friends of Cold Spring School, and we're a not-for-profit that facilitates partnerships between the school and organizations that have a concern for the environment. We're bringing up the next generation of people to take care of the planet, so we're trying to inspire them with our passion and enthusiasm for nature. Our vision is to make Cold Spring a premier environmental studies magnet for Indianapolis, but also a model for environmental education for the whole state of Indiana. So we're all about the environment here at Cold Spring, but today you'll be touring some of the built environment in this locale. And Indiana Landmarks has asked me to share a little of the background on that. So let's get started. After the Civil War, with the new technologies that came online, they began transitioning our economy from an agricultural economy to an industrial economy. And along with that, our cities started becoming crowded, dirty, and noisy. So those industrialists and entrepreneurs who created the noise and the dust and the dirt wanted a place they could get away for the weekend and get a little peace and quiet. And so having plenty of money, they hired trendy architects to build themselves rural retreats with high-style mansions, outbuildings, and elaborate landscaping. And so began the country place era and the country estates you'll see examples of today. Are you hearing me okay back there? Good. The first and grandest of these country estates was Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina. It was built in 1895, the home of George Washington Vanderbilt, those Vanderbilts. It was designed as a palatial French chateau and sat on 125,000 acres of land. With land like this, some country estate owners became gentlemen farmers and reared livestock, more for a hobby than for profit. Having a farm was considered wholesome for the children, and it fit in with their idea of country living. And so magazines like Country Life in America gave them advice on the latest fashions such as beekeeping and gardening. And they read Vanity Fair to tell them how to entertain their friends on the weekend with their amenities for boating and horseback riding and tennis and all that. A more typical sized country estate is Oldfields on the grounds of the Indianapolis Museum of Art. It has a simplified French chateau style mansion and only 26 acres of land, but it did have cows back in the day. It was built for industrialist Hugh McKinnon Landon in 1912 and renovated by Josiah K. Lilly of the Lillies in the 1930s. Other country estate mansions were Colonial Revival, like Verstow in Lawrenceburg. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Verstow? Okay. Romanesque style, like the Bass Mansion in Fort Wayne, or like this one, sort of an English Revival style. Now, getting away from it all in your country estate did not mean being isolated. It might mean living in an elite neighborhood of mansions like what you're seeing today. You'll be stopping at mansions of two Indianapolis Motor Speedway founders, James Allison and Frank Wheeler. And these were built around 1900 along Cold Spring Road, which back in the day was called Millionaire's Row. Now, this lovely country estate was home to the family of Charles B. Sommers. He was part owner of a former bicycle shop that, when the automobile came along, transitioned to distributing automobile parts. and accessories, and he later owned the Gibson Furniture Company downtown. Style-wise, the Sommers Mansion has been described as a Cotswold cottage on steroids, with some Tudor Jacobean, colonial, and arts and crafts touches thrown in. Mr. Sommers' taste dictated the design of every part of the home inside and out, from stained glass windows to terrazzo floors to the rookwood tiled waiting room to the Ratskeller with its hunting theme. And you'll get to explore these features later. What you won't see, though, is the lovely Japanese gardens and stream that used to curve around back to behind the house and come down the hill here and came to a formal perennial garden here on the lowland. Now, artful landscaping like that was an important symbol of the country place era. Double rows of trees were planted as alleys to frame vistas. Lakes and ponds were carved out. Roads were laid out to stage the journey by automobile through the landscape. As an example, for the Allison estate, which is named Riverdale, noted landscape architect Jensen designed a series of spring-fed lakes, a stone colonnade, a player's green for outdoor theatrical performances, and circular perennial gardens. And Jensen later designed Riverworks to go with Riverdale as a party destination at the bottom of the hill. The mansion sits up there, and then Riverworks is back in there. And this was sold at some point to the Sommers family. A portion of Riverworks survives barely here at the Sommers estate. And after you tour the Sommers Mansion, we invite you to visit the crumbling bathhouse, the dam on the Crooked Creek, and the stone bridges. These are all that remain from a time that the Sommers family dined with friends on sunny Sunday evenings down by the swimming pool, with their servants carrying the dishes by automobile down the hill from the mansion. The Sommers guests could enjoy miniature golf and tennis, or stroll along wide pathways with decorative benches and shaded rest stops. Today, the once manicured grounds across the creek have grown up in trees and shrubs, and that is the outdoor classroom that our Cold Spring School students use. Most country estates like this have become white elephants. Just a few survive in the hands of nonprofits that scramble for funding to keep them maintained. Their elaborate landscapes have mostly not survived, but today you'll see some of the best remnants at the Allison Mansion and here at the Sommers estate. With a little imagination, you'll be able to sample the pre-Depression lifestyle, taste, and wealth of the country place era movers and shakers. So have a great ride, and we'll see you back here afterward for a peek at the mansion. Have fun.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's quite a place.
Yeah. Were you surprised?
Yes.